Ludwig Wittgenstein, Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. Embark on an intellectual journey with Ludwig Wittgenstein's Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, where the intriguing interplay between language and reality unfolds. Wittgenstein investigates the profound idea that language delineates the boundaries of our world, suggesting that what we can express in words forms the limits of our experience. This seminal work challenges us to reconsider the capabilities and limitations of language in describing the world around us. Through logical analysis, Wittgenstein reveals how language can encapsulate facts and logical connections, but struggles with metaphysical, ethical, and aesthetic truths. As you delve into this summary, expect to confront fascinating insights on subjects ranging from philosophy's attempt to verbalize the ineffable to the nature of mathematical propositions and the essence of solipsism. Prepare to explore these complex notions simplified and clarified, offering a profound reflection on what can and cannot be said.
Beyond words. Wittgenstein's profound insight reveals language as both a tool and a boundary to our reality. He suggests that our world is as vast as our words can define, highlighting the intimate link between language's expressive capacity and our understanding of existence. For him, the essence of life and metaphysical truths, like why we exist or what consciousness truly is, slip through the nets of language. While words can convey facts and logical connections, they falter in encapsulating the mystical and ineffable. These unspeakable truths exist beyond the linguistic frontier, existing as profound mysteries that elude our grasp the moment we try to articulate them. Wittgenstein argues that the role of philosophy should shift, acknowledging the limits of what we can say and recognizing the spaces where silence is necessary. His revolutionary idea challenges traditional philosophy, which often attempted to express the inexpressible, particularly within ethics, metaphysics, and theology. By delineating what can be spoken and what must remain silent, Wittgenstein invites us to embrace wonder at the unreachable mysteries just outside the realm of our describable world. Language, therefore, constructs the boundary of our meaningful experiences, acting as both a gateway and a limit to the world we know. Limits of language. Wittgenstein challenges the traditional role of philosophy by asserting its true purpose, to clarify thoughts through logic, separating sense from nonsense. Philosophy, he argues, often becomes ensnared in expressing the inexpressible, particularly within metaphysics, ethics, and theology. These fields, claiming to provide factual insights, often produce what he deems nonsensical. Wittgenstein likens philosophy to therapeutic activity, emphasizing elucidation over creating new propositions. The task is to dissect language, revealing that logical propositions, while structurally sound, declare nothing factual. They expose the intrinsic logic within language without depicting reality. Mathematics, similarly, is criticized for presenting calculations without conveying concrete truths. By proposing linguistic atomism, Wittgenstein stresses that language can only depict tangible states, not abstract metaphysical concepts. He famously suggests remaining silent on what cannot be expressed meaningfully. This radical approach, stripping away perceived philosophical nonsense, sets a new philosophical benchmark. Philosophy, confined within the boundaries of meaningful language, should focus on clarifying expressible concepts, leaving the rest unsaid. Wittgenstein's perspective redefines the philosophical landscape, urging thinkers to respect the limits of language and embrace clarity over conjecture. Mathematics Unveiled. Mathematical expressions, much like ordinary language, are not reflections of physical reality. Instead, they serve as tautologies, highlighting the internal interactions between concepts without engaging with the tangible world. Logic in mathematics mirrors the structure found in logical tautologies, presenting an image of order while remaining detached from actual substance. Think of mathematical symbols as components of a game, governed by set rules, rather than representations of real objects and their properties. Numbers, for instance, gain significance only through equations that illuminate their role within the mathematical framework. An equation such as 2 plus 2 equals 4 illustrates a relationship between numbers, without being a direct depiction of combining actual items. Wittgenstein asserts that mathematical and logical statements are devoid of factual content about the real world, diverging from views like Galileo's, who saw mathematics as the language of nature's properties. Instead, mathematics calculates possibilities within its own closed, conceptual system, separate from the independence of physical reality. Ultimately, while mathematics and ordinary language function under distinct rules, the former's universal appeal stems from its abstraction, not its ability to uncover truths beyond those available in ordinary discourse. Solipsism and the unspeakable. Wittgenstein delves into the puzzling notion of solipsism, the idea that only the self truly exists and the external world is mere illusion. He suggests that solipsism hints at a truth but can't be articulated logically. The essence of this idea lies in its ability to reveal itself rather than being said directly. While logic cannot definitively prove the world's independent existence or other minds, language inherently assumes their reality. The shared nature of language implies a shared world, yet the relationship between self and the world remains beyond the reach of factual language. There's a mystical unity between an individual's inner experience and external reality that resists concrete description. This oneness transcends expressible propositions, presenting itself as an indescribable harmony, a truth that can be felt but not spoken. Contemplating the world from a universal perspective reveals a unified, albeit limited, whole, where everything is interconnected. Nonetheless, this profound metaphysical unity defies verbal capture. Wittgenstein asserts that what is shown cannot be articulated through words. This sublime sense of oneness remains unspeakable. He critiques traditional philosophy for attempting to express these ineffable truths about reality. Solipsism symbolizes this inexpressible connection between self and world. Philosophy's role, he argues, is not to articulate the unspeakable, but to respect the confines of language through logical analysis. In doing so, philosophy should acknowledge its limits and resist the temptation to plunge into obscurity. Solipsism thus gestures towards mystical truths that logic cannot encompass, urging philosophy to recognize what lies beyond the reach of articulate thought. Myth of cosmic justice. Do virtuous actions guarantee positive outcomes? Imagine stepping into the world of Wittgenstein, where philosophical contemplation reveals wishful thinking behind ideas of karmic retribution and cosmic justice. In this realm, the notion that moral actions lead to inevitable fair consequences fades away, replaced by the understanding that there is no universal justice ensuring wrongs are righted. Wittgenstein challenges the traditional notion of causality, arguing that while we observe patterns in the world, we cannot truly grasp the causes behind these patterns. Causality, he suggests, is a mental construct, a way for us to frame the world rather than a fundamental force within it. The belief that our actions set off a chain of inevitable reactions is, therefore, a comforting illusion, a myth we've created to impose moral order on an indifferent reality. Wittgenstein saw this link between ethical deeds and outcomes as more of a linguistic convenience than a law of nature. The familiar adage, "what goes around comes around," suggests a hidden order, a metaphysical balance guiding life. However, Wittgenstein argues that no law or intrinsic force guarantees such balance. Our universe, he posits, lacks inherent meaning. Instead, humans project meaning through the lens of language, despite its limitation to prove existential truths like cosmic justice or karmic cycles. While acknowledging a possibility of deeper subjective meaning beyond language, Wittgenstein calls for authentic meaning-making, which requires embracing the chasm between our narratives and reality's true nature. The ideas of karmic causality and cosmic justice become myths we hold on to, imposing order on a fundamentally indifferent universe. They serve as hopeful narratives, helping us find comfort in chaos, yet reality, devoid of intrinsic meaning or order, merely exists. Colors beyond words. Imagine a bustling city of language, filled with vibrant streets and alleys echoing with communication. Yet, within this lively city, there's an elusive entity, color, that defies capture through mere words. In Tractatus, Wittgenstein illuminates this paradox, explaining how language, as a symbolic system, falls short of fully defining or encapsulating our subjective experience of colors. While phrases like, "this rose is red," seem simple, they barely scratch the surface of color's true essence. The word red doesn't pinpoint an exact shade but rather distinguishes it from non-red. Hence, language merely gestures toward what can't be pinned down. This reveals a gap in language's ability to portray the full depth of our color experiences, demonstrating the inherent limitations of communication. Wittgenstein further argued that logical propositions, though seemingly precise, fail to convey the intrinsic qualities of our perception. Words function more like mathematical terms, hinting at relationships rather than capturing sensations. Logic manifests not through direct statements but by naturally unfolding within well-structured sentences, what he describes as the doctrine of showing. This approach distinguishes between what can be directly articulated and what can only be demonstrated through context. Just as grammar silently guides intelligible speech, logic serves as the unseen architecture underpinning language itself. Through this exploration, Wittgenstein eloquently showcases how logic shapes all that we can convey, subtly interweaving itself into every proposition. Our attempts to describe the world inadvertently reveal language's boundaries, rooted in its logical framework. This nuanced dance between language and logic underscores how words trace the outline of our reality, yet often leave its heart untouched.
Wittgenstein's Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus closes with an ambitious reevaluation of how language structures our reality and the inherent limits it imposes. Through exploring how language can communicate facts but not transcendental truths, he challenges traditional philosophy to focus on what can be logically clarified. By understanding these boundaries, Wittgenstein urges us to embrace the unspeakable mysteries that lie beyond words, be they mystical experiences or the very nature of existence. Further, his thoughts on solipsism and color perception illustrate the limits of language in capturing subjective experiences. Ultimately, Wittgenstein's work sparks a call for philosophy to recognize language's limits, advocating for logical clarity over metaphysical speculation. This exploration invites readers to embrace the beauty of the known and unknown, viewing language both as a powerful tool and a boundary to the mysteries of being.